and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. I'm your host, Jake Gardner, and we have special guest Aaron Morrison here.
How you doing? How you doing?
And this week is a special episode. It's been delayed because I have COVID and I'm finally getting better, but also because all these other NBA players have COVID and everybody's going through this right now where they have to stream people. Leagues are adding IR spots, probably moves as well. We didn't do that, but it's a pretty crazy time. Like I was surprised that the NBA didn't shut down, honestly,
I wish
for
it
like a
would have.
week or two. Yeah, because
Would have saved my fantasy record.
hockey shut down for 2 weeks, and I was like, all right, well, NBA's gonna follow suit, but not at all. So it's been a crazy fantasy like 2.5 weeks right now.
It
But
definitely
yeah,
has.
Aaron, how's your team doing? How are you doing, man?
Oh, my team is doing terribly right now, but we have nothing that's season ending so far, so I'm pretty hopeful. Just picked up Thomas Bryant, just so like that's a stash away. So because I know I'm about to lose the next 2 weeks.
Dang, you're just giving up? Isn't Keyshawn decimated too with COVID?
Yeah, I think I might beat him this week though. Honestly,
You could
just
take
be
him.
just because I don't know. Russell Westbrook is a pretty good X factor.
Yeah, he's a really good fantasy player. You got to give him
Yeah.
that. Uh,
He's a great NBA player, but like he's not somebody you would want your expectations like in your
mhm.
season landing on just because he's very erratic.
Yeah, I mean 41.3. It's really hard to be above 40 in like a fantasy points format like this. So he is a beast, even though everybody discounts him.
Yeah,
At least stat wise, yeah. I mean, he's still a top 20 player in my eyes. I don't know. Or
he
is he
might be
out now?
top. Uh,
Maybe top 30 now?
no,
Jeez.
he's damn near top 15. It's just like people want him to do more than he's capable of doing at his like current situation and level. Like I don't
Hmm.
see him being like what he used to be simply because he has literally the greatest player to ever play the game on his team, and that comes with a higher usage rate by a teammate. So that means yours will go down. Like he's not on ball the whole game, thankfully, because he'll average 8 turnovers. But like he's not on the ball, and I think that's detrimental to the Lakers as a team. But it's better for the overall team environment if that makes sense. Like I feel like the Lakers will win more games if they had LeBron go off ball and just let the offense run through Westbrook for like probably 2.5 quarters. Then the last 2 quarters get the ball to LeBron in the post or low block and let him operate the whole offense from there. I feel like LeBron is a better center than he would be point guard. Unpopular
Mm.
opinion. And like
I think you're right. I think the game they just won, they did not play like Dwight Howard or DeAndre Jordan. So they're playing more small ball. They're using Malik Monk. They're getting their shooters like what they have because they're almost like they have to now. They're desperate.
yeah, like I feel like this should have been the lineup from the beginning just because they're decimated with injuries. They can't cover the three well. Like they have trouble doing a lot of the basic things that you need to do to win a basketball game. And I feel like their
Hmm.
lineup is the strongest when they have movement within it. Like tonight is going to be a real good test because they're playing a team that's actually a pretty good team, a playoff contender in the Grizzlies. And I feel like we're going to really see if the Lakers can play real basketball because it's hard to tell against Houston, even though Houston's has been hot lately. But Houston is like one of the worst teams in the league, and I feel like they'll get a top five pick
Yeah.
regardless of what they do. And I'm really curious to see how LeBron plays tonight, honestly, because the the Grizzlies actually have a very decent big man. I don't know if Valanciunas is playing currently, but I think he got traded, didn't he?
Yeah, he's in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Where was my brain? I meant Jaren Jackson Jr. Like,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
he's not a real center, but like he's a big
The
who shoots
same size
threes.
as the center, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah, he's
I'm curious
huge.
to see how he handle that. And the rotation on the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies like to play fast through Ja Morant now that he's back, getting his feet
Hmm.
underneath him. They have shooters around them, so this is like a Silver State Warriors, like kind of like not as like prevalent as the Warriors, but like the
Hmm.
pace that they play with is kind of very similar. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers play and handle this challenge.
Yeah, man, I really think the key is with Westbrook and LeBron pushing for the glass, opening up the court. Just keep playing Malik Monk like this. I mean, look at his. You picked him up. Look at his stats the past 2 games. It's like
Yeah,
they got to keep doing it, man. And then
they they got
maybe
to let
trade
him
for another
score.
shooter too.
I don't know. Like it was a trade that I saw on the table that I didn't hate. It was like not Malik Monk. It was THT and Kendrick Nunn and a first round pick for Jeremy Grant. Even if I was Detroit, I wouldn't do that.
Oh,
Just like I wouldn't do that for anything in this world. But
mm-hmm.
uh, it would add up to it wouldn't add up to their team, but it would add a much needed player who plays both ways.
Yeah, and like a faster big man
Yeah,
actually run the court.
but I don't think the Detroit Pistons smoke crack every morning before they go to work. So I don't think they'll do that deal. Like honestly,
I don't
like
know, man.
they
They
got a
could
couple
be the
crack pipes
worst.
over there.
Sacramento's run the worst in the league, I think.
But Sacramento actually has a lot of talent, but it sucks for them because all their
Hmm.
talent is basically at the same position.
Yeah, they have like four really good guards, young guards, and then
Yeah. And I hate that they got drafted there because it's going to really mess up their careers. Like
and they're
Bagley.
not playing. They're not. Yeah, they're not playing Bagley
No,
enough.
they give him 20 a night now. 20 minutes.
Still, I mean,
He,
you
he,
might
he
as well
deserved
play him, right?
35 to 40, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're scared that he outplays his contract because, with the professional leagues, there's a lot of politics that goes into that. But he's not going to
Hmm.
resign there. So, like, you might as well let him show his
Oh
talent to the
yeah,
league.
he's disgruntled, and I mean, who wouldn't be in that
Yeah.
situation? So I'd
And
be
they
out.
believe in Luke Walton too much,
Yeah,
honestly.
didn't they just get rid of Luke Walton?
Yeah, like that was the problem though. Like you
Yeah,
got
they.
you
Yeah.
got rid of Luke Walton, but you weren't playing one of your best talented players. And now that talented player is disgruntled, you have no way
Hmm.
of like making it right because I don't think they're in the playoff picture right now. You look
No,
at the
they had
standings.
no. I don't know who the interim coach is either, or if it's just like the player mentality, but they don't play any defense, man.
Well, they are in the playoff picture though, even though it's the play in, even though the play in shouldn't be a thing. They're number 11.
Oh,
They're
you don't
only
like the
two.
play-in
I absolutely hate it.
for the 9 and 10?
I absolutely hate it just because one, I've been like I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'm a LeBron fan, and I hate that it puts unnecessary mileage on his list because the Lakers are probably going to finish in the 6 or 7 seed, maybe 5, but I don't see them getting past 5, and
Hmm.
they'll have a hard time winning it all if they don't have a higher seed, honestly. And I don't see the Suns or Warriors or Jazz dropping 20 games in a row, so like them getting into those seasons is just unrealistic. But they're 4 games out of the Grizzlies' 4th spot. And I see the Grizzlies, I don't see them dropping many games in a row either. But the Nuggets are pretty bad. Clippers are pretty average. Well, they're pretty bad without Paul George.
Yeah, they're gonna have a
Uh,
rough run of it.
yeah, the Mavericks suck. Timberwolves suck. Spurs, I
Oh
see
no,
the Spurs.
Timberwolves are good, and then all their
They're,
star players got COVID. They
yeah,
were on a little bit of a run before that, but
but like I feel like people revert back to their habits. So like,
mm,
it, although like the Timberwolves have had a hot little stretch, overall as an organization and the players who they have, because there's nobody different besides Anthony Edwards. I feel like uh, they have a
hmm.
culture around them that's comprised on losing. Like it's just in their nature. And I hate to be one of those guys who like reverse back to an organization history, but like the Timberwolves are a poorly ran organization, and like
Yeah,
it's been evident over the years.
yeah. I
But
think Ant is the X factor, I guess, because yeah, we like you said, we already know kind of who Towns is and who D'Angelo Russell are, so Ant
yeah,
Man has given them kind of like that extra edge to get some more wins, but we'll see. Yeah, I could see what you're saying that they could definitely fall off a cliff. I
yeah.
mean, they already did go on a losing streak earlier this season. It was like a almost 10 games, right?
Uh, their longest, like they last 10 games, they're 5-5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like last month they were on a losing streak, and Towns was like having all these interview questions about it, like that this has happened before. So then they got fired up again, and then yeah, just the roller coaster of COVID. But
Yeah,
we'll see. Lakers will make it, man. But yeah, like you said, I don't think they're beating those top three seeds
yeah,
unless they make some moves or something.
and I don't see that happening.
Yeah. But hey, let's get into this fantasy. So everybody, we're gonna go team by team, list their COVID players, and then list a stream option if there is one, and then we're gonna rank the stream options at the end.
So we're starting off with the 11 seed Hawks.
Yeah, yeah. So John Collins, Sharif Cooper, Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Huerter, Wesley Uwandu, Jalen Johnson, Timothy Lawawu-Cabarrett, Anika, geez, they have a lot. Anika Akungwo, Lou Williams, Delon Wright. So yeah, they only have 8 available players, which is what the league minimum to play an NBA game, and they've signed 2 guys. So it's Trae Young just came back from the COVID list. So it's Trae Young, Clint Capella, and the must grab here for me is Cam Reddish. He's already shown on Monday when they lost to the Bulls that he could put up big numbers, and we know he was drafted as such, as a high talent. So he's definitely one of my top grabs we'll go over later, just because of the upside while other players are out. What are your thoughts, Aaron?
I would have said Herder, but I think he's down right now with the COVID. But
Yeah,
it would be either between Reddish and Cooper, honestly.
Cooper.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's like a mini Trae Young, but
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. And before I almost picked up Delon Wright because he had a really good game, and then he entered the COVID list. So it's just they're really going through it.
yeah, I feel
Um,
like they think if you play well, you got COVID.
yeah, for real. So yeah, Cam Reddish is next then. Boston
Yeah.
Celtics, Bruno Fernando, Enes Kanter, Freedom, Jesus, Justin Jackson, C.J. Miles, Aaron Naismith, Dennis Schroeder. Actually, Dennis Schroeder is back today, so that's an update to this list. Um, Josh Richardson, and then Jason Tatum actually just entered the COVID protocols as well. So that means Jaylen Brown will be the lead of the team. And I put here before this was before the Dennis Schroeder news, but Peyton Pritchard had a couple of really good games as the lead point guard while guys were out.
Hmm.
You could still stream him today. I mean, I saw people are still grabbing him, and Dennis Schroeder might have a minutes limit, coming back from COVID.
Yeah.
But I was thinking Peyton Pritchard for sure. I didn't really see. I mean, if Josh Richardson was back, I would grab him too. But
Yeah, the guy who's 10-0 in our league, he grabbed Peyton Pritchard, so like it might be a great move. So, but the wild person I'll grab is Jabari Parker, just because like
oh
that
yeah,
Chicago bias.
God,
But
if I had seen more from him, I would say so too, just because of his history of he's had really good seasons before. But I don't know, they're not giving him minutes. It's 12 minutes, 9 minutes the past 2 games. So maybe tonight they use him more. I don't know.
yeah, Tatum just went down,
Yeah.
and that's crazy because he played every game this season too.
Hmm.
The moment they put out that stat, that's the moment he goes down. Ironic,
Yeah, for real.
but yeah, yeah, I feel like on Boston, there's only one option for real. So like one serious option. Otherwise, you're just hoping and wishing.
Yeah. Yeah, Brooklyn Nets, LaMarcus Aldridge, David Duke Jr., Kevin Durant, Kessler Edwards, Kyrie Irving, Day'Ron Sharp, Cam Thomas. But Kevin Durant should be back for their Thursday night matchup, is what I read. And so the streamers were Patty Mills and Nick Claxton. Like Nick Claxton, when he was getting minutes, is doing really well. Um, Patty Mills, I feel like you could still always stream. He was a streamer even when Kevin Durant was in. Like he's having a good year. Can
You
only
know
hope.
he's third in the league overall in 3 points, like hit.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, that makes them even more scary.
it really does.
The heck happened to Joe on that team? That's supposed to be their
Uh, the thing
Joe
with
Harris.
shooters
Oh, he's
is
out. Okay.
like, but he wasn't having a great season before that. Like, I feel like the problem
No.
with a lot of shooters is they're just one like dimension to them, so it's easier to like take them out of the game plan. Like with a player like Patty Mills, you get the ball movement, you get the quickness, you get the slashing, you get the passing, you get like
Yeah.
he's a pest on defense, even though he doesn't have a real presence just because he's small. But like he
Hmm.
plays the passing lane really well, and he's the type of guard that you'll want hounding another guard that's active. Patty Mills is just a good basketball player. Like, and he's from Australia, and they have the history of defense. Like every year in the Olympics, they're relevant just because they
Hmm.
play great defense.
It's true. Yeah, and he's only 29% owned in ESPN leagues, and he should be way higher, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I'm about to look in our league if he's on. He
well,
probably
our
is.
league is yeah, our league is always like there's nothing available, but so
Yeah,
competitive. Um, but yeah, he's a must grab for anybody who still has him. In a 10-team league, he's probably available. We're in a 12-team. Um, but yeah, we were talking about him as a stream option even before COVID hit. So
yeah.
go check on him. Would you still grab Nick Claxton with Kevin Durant back or no?
No, just because like Claxton, his shots get cut in half simply just because KD's there and
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie's coming back. So I would be wary of any of the Nets just because everybody's shots are going to get cut in half because Kyrie's going to he not demand, but he's going to deserve his 20 shots a game at least 15 if we're
Mm-hmm.
being nice, you know. And KD has that same mark. James Harden has that same mark, but he takes a little bit less just because he's focused more so on facilitating on that team.
Mm-hmm.
But I would stay away from the Nets just because they have stars, like 3 stars, and it's rare for people to have 3 stars on a team. And you know, production is always cut in half when you have somebody of equal talent.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And God, I haven't seen the Kyrie timeline yet. I don't know where he's at, but
He just cleared COVID protocol, so
oh
probably
wow,
next away game he'll play.
yeah, today he just cleared it.
Yeah,
12:42 right before. Oh wow. Okay, so they're gonna get his conditioning up probably, and then
yeah. He might have
get him
some
in there.
runs in the G League outside of New York, but he gets to practice in New York, so I don't understand why he can't play.
Man, who knows? And especially with possibly more restrictions coming up.
And
Um, we'll
I feel
see.
like that's the problem with like the league is there
Mm-hmm.
are no real guidelines that we know actually work, but them being overly precautious is like kind of contradictory just because if they really want to take precaution, they wouldn't have the season, but we know they'll lose too much money, so they want the season. So it's just unfortunate that they frame it as them caring about COVID when if they really cared about COVID, we wouldn't have an NBA season this year. So it's just a
Yeah.
really
Well, they were thinking. Well, everyone was thinking, right, that the vaccine would be more effective than it has
yeah,
been. And like
but
when
they
it
didn't
first came
foresee
out,
the
it was like
variant.
when it first came out, they were saying like, now you won't, like you're way less likely to get it, and now it's just like now they're all the way back to you won't die. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna get it still. I mean, even people, I don't. This isn't supposed to be controversial, but like even people who have gotten the booster that I know are still getting COVID right now. So I don't know, man.
yeah.
It's a weird
Like,
time.
but I like the guarantee that you won't die. But some people like
Hmm.
just want the guarantee that you won't get it. But I don't think we're ever going to get to that point. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think like in the near future that we'll get to that point.
Yeah, man. I don't know either. It's just a weird time. But yeah, we're just gonna have to keep going down this list. Charlotte Hornets, Miles Bridges and PJ Washington entered the COVID protocols on Sunday. Scotty Lewis is also on the list, but he's not really fantasy relevant like the other two. And my biggest streamer from this team is Mason Plumlee. He's the big man, um, especially with PJ Washington out, and his numbers show as such. He's doing really well. Like the first game without them against Houston, 29 minutes, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Like just a stud game. For
Yeah,
a guy you could just grab. He's only 22% owned.
yeah. I say
And
Plumlee is the guy, and I
mhm.
hate this week that I actually play Lonzo Ball because he finally gets to shoot 30 shots. So I'm probably gonna cry later this night. 'Cause, like I just hate that like tonight's gonna be the night that they figure out he could be a volume scorer. So fingers crossed. I
Yeah,
hope
man.
he has a terrible game tonight, but has a
And
great one next week.
heck yeah. Yeah, no, and real quick for deep leagues, and I'm in a competitive deep league like that, and I'm playing that 10-0 team, so I grabbed Jalen McDaniels. He's been on my watch list for a while
Hmm.
because he's got talent and he's just kind of on a stacked roster, so he hasn't gotten the minutes. But right now, with those guys out, he's starting at power forward, so he's putting up okay numbers. He's not putting up Mason Plumlee numbers, but he's playable
Yeah,
for like one game, and then you could just grab another guy.
yeah.
Just a pure stream option.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm here on list two. You got a pen and regular, sir?
Yes, I do.
I just have Macy's. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, we go on to the next team. My bad, bro.
No, it's okay.
I'm mid COVID test right now, so but I'm still able to complete the task at hand.
For sure. Yeah. Chicago Bulls. Lonzo Ball just entered the protocols. Tony Bradley, Billy Donovan, Alfonso McKinney.
The SWAT knife. So let me fell off. Let me get your brush.
Yeah. So my second place, Chicago Bulls. Don't that feel good to say?
Yeah. Yeah, man, they're looking great.
Yeah. But so who did you say your streamers was from their team?
I would do Kobe White. Um, I'm not really sure if anyone else is putting up good enough numbers to stream right now because they have their big three in place. Alex Caruso is out right now with injury, so you can't stream him. And
Yeah.
if Kobe White wasn't playing right now, I'd say Io, but with Kobe in, like Io's not really getting the touches.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't stream anybody from the Bulls just because rebounds, Vucevic and Tony Bradley get the majority of those. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Vucevic take up the points. Rebounds, pretty much Vucevic and Tony Bradley. Like I said earlier, my bad. We're going over things twice. And assists, last game, DeMar DeRozan had 10 assists. Zach LaVine had 9. And I don't know how many Lonzo Ball had, but like I guarantee there weren't many more team assists after that. So stats wise, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how anybody else can fit in, but those two
Yeah,
are definitely. I mean, that team is definitely complete, and I don't see anybody fitting into like their makeup beside like barring injury.
for sure. Yeah, Kobe White's just like a deep league streamer at this point, and he's only really like a
Yeah,
bench point many other stats.
yeah,
For sure. I agree. Cleveland Cavaliers, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Ed Davis, Chetty Osman, Lamar Stevens are on the COVID list. The number one streamer to me is definitely Kevin Love with their big man, Jared Allen out. Is Evan Mobley back, actually? I just want to double check that.
yeah. He played last game.
Okay, so this list is like a day out date. It's just so much is updated like day by day.
Yeah,
But Kevin Love has been doing really well with Jared Allen out, and he's still only playing like 20 minutes, but he's super efficient and he's putting up big numbers. He's kind of looking vintage Kevin Love right now. And last game he actually played 32 minutes, so he's a bit up.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Uh,
think he's a great grab. Last couple games, 35.3 fantasy points, 37.8, 38.9. Like he's just got big numbers recently.
I would say Ricky Rubio would be my streamer, but Ricky
He
Rubio might have a regular roster spot on most teams, or is he
Yeah,
hurt?
he was owned, but he just got hurt last night. He was like carried off the floor.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I don't know the details of it yet. I just know that he had to leave. But yeah, otherwise he was a grab for sure. He was only 58% owned, so he might have been available in 10-team leagues.
Yeah, definitely not ours.
He's getting an MRI on his left knee Wednesday. Yeah, not our league.
Uh,
So other guys that are kind of low owned that you could grab are Lauri Markkanen. You could grab
love that
him,
guy.
Kevin
Love that
Love,
guy.
and then Isaac Okoro just came back, so you could try him as well. But I would say Kevin Love or Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. So I'm kind of biased because I have Lauri Markkanen on my team, but I seen him play with the Bulls. Like, he's a extreme like elite talent that won't be admired until it's like too late in his career. Like, he's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a very talented player who had a bad shake of it on a bad team. So I'm very high on Lauri Markkanen, but I didn't know he was categorized as a streamer, but like, that would be my streamer just because he's on my team already. So
Yeah, he's a little more owned than Kevin Love, so like Lauri Markkanen first for sure in a 10-team. He's 43% owned. But a deeper league he might be owned, and Kevin Love is only 25% owned, so I think he should be available in most leagues. Dallas Mavericks, Reggie Bullock, Trey Burke, Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Drakori McLaughlin. Yeah. Streamers, I've been streaming Dorian Finney-Smith, and I was
you said
talking about
who?
him as Dorian Finney-Smith, power forward. I've been using him or talking about him for a little bit as just a guy to grab anyway before the COVID, because he's been doing really well. You could say he's their third or fourth best player, honestly, because the team does not have that great of depth. And he's been putting up pretty dang good numbers, especially with Doncic out the past week. So I went and scooped him up.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd definitely be the only Dallas Maverick
mhm.
that'd be worth the time.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson's a grab if he's available, but he's already 56.3% owned. So, but otherwise, I don't really see anybody that's worth a grab.
Yeah. And
It's not your
I
favorite
hate that
team, I
we play.
know.
I hate that we play in a 12 like team league just because like people who would be like streamers to me would be like so much different from everybody else.
It's true.
Like we have a very obscure, like I have obscure players in my head, but I don't want to give out the sauce because like I don't want to give up the competitive advantage. So
Oh, you think I don't know the whole league?
I know you do, but like, you know,
Yeah, other guys. Yeah,
yeah, can't give out all the sauce.
for sure. Yeah, next team, Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr., even though he's out for the season anyway, he's on the COVID list. Bol. Only a streamer for me in this team. They're not really hit by COVID that hard. I like Facundo Campazzo. He's point guard, and Monty Morris is day to day. And so really, this is like their only point guard available. And he's been putting up pretty good stats the past week and a half. So he's a good like daily streamer kind of guy.
Hmm. Yeah, my bad. I didn't hear what you were saying. I was getting to explain something about the COVID test.
Yeah, no worries. I was saying for the Nuggets, the only guy that I would grab is Facundo Campazzo.
Mm-hmm.
He's their only point guard available right now because Monty Morris is day to day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know Jokic can ball handle really well, so sometimes he'll bring it down. But Campazzo has had pretty good numbers the past week and a half. So it's
Yeah.
just like a daily streamer kind of guy, just like a one game, throw him in, kind of. You need some points and assists. I mean, technically, okay, Bones Highland is available, but he's so on and off. I don't believe in him.
Yeah. But sometimes I like those players who are like either hit or miss just because it's like a coin flip, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need that like X factor on your team because you need those points that like come from a source that you wouldn't think. But I feel like you pretty much hit it on the head. And I feel like Bol Bol's going to have an impact coming back just because how depleted they are. And
Yeah, I
maybe
don't know his timeline. I gotta look at that right now.
maybe Austin Rivers would be a good
He's
pickup
getting
for
his
somebody.
conditioning up, and then he could play.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like Austin Rivers because he'll just give you a stable 10 points a game probably. Then he'll get you maybe
mhm,
four or three assists on accident. Then maybe one rebound.
mhm.
He'll get you like a solid 17 or 18 points in our league. So like it's better than zero.
Yeah, he's getting decent minutes the past couple games, and he's around 20 fantasy points or lower. So it's not bad. I think he's a like deep league stream.
Yeah.
Uh, Next team, the Detroit Pistons: Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes, Josh Jackson, Corey Joseph, Saban Lee, Rodney McGruder, Isaiah Stewart. So, for me, the only streamer that I liked was Hamidou Diallo, and he was on OKC last year or a couple years ago, and he was a good shooter when he got the minutes. And right now, that's kind of what he's doing. He's putting
Hitting the
up
shots.
he's putting up pretty big numbers actually, and he's getting like 35 plus minutes a night. Last game, he had 28 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Oh,
That's a solid set, man.
yeah, near 40 fantasy points. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like grab him while the team only has like 8 players and play him. And you
Yeah.
know what? I did look at this guy last night. Frank Jackson is the fill-in point guard,
hmm
and he's had 2 good games in a row, plus 30 minutes, near like 35. So yeah, they're kind of just like Atlanta with this is one of the teams that's hit hardest with COVID, so they only have a couple like the exact amount to play a game.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, I wish I could disagree with you on more of these, but like you make too much sense.
for sure. Yeah, the hard part is at the end when we have to rank like every streamer kind of available and pick our top 5 because there is a lot available and a lot of guys are getting heavy minutes, so it's kind of deciding who's actually the best to stream and is going to give you the best chance at winning.
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green just entered the COVID protocols, and Andrew Wiggins just came back from the COVID protocols. Damian Lee's, Jordan Poole, and Moses Moody are all in COVID protocols. So streaming options for me, like I wouldn't necessarily go to this team to grab players, but Otto Porter Jr. has been playing well of late, and I would take him off the list since Andrew Wiggins is back. But since Draymond Green just went onto it, it's kind of like they'll keep playing him the same amount of minutes.
Yeah.
So he's usable. And then if you need some more defensive stats, I'd grab Gary Payton's the second. But that's like a deeper league move, Gary Payton. Like Otto
Yeah.
Porter, you could stream in a 10 team. Gary Payton's probably like a 12 to 14 team league. Houston Rockets, DJ Augustine, Garrison Matthews. So there's really not a COVID grab. Like they only have 2 guys on the list, but Jalen Green is back, and he might have been dropped in some of your leagues. So
I wish
he's
he
a
would
must
drop in
grab.
our league.
Yeah, yeah, our league's too smart for that. But yeah, he had a really good game coming back. 24 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals.
Yeah, and I would look at
38 minutes. Yeah.
that's doing it. I'll look at Thies and Matthews to grab from the Rockets, but I think
hmm
Matthews is out. But like Thies is a good pick just because he gets about 23 minutes a game consistently, and a big man. He's gonna block shots on accident, grab
hmm
rebounds on accident. Like it's gonna fall into his lap.
hmm Yeah, no, they're very on it. He's a frustrating guy to grab because like sometimes he'll put up huge numbers and sometimes he'll just put up like nothing. Like the last game he played, he only put up 11.3 fantasy points. So it's just
Yeah,
it's
that
hard to
would be
do, but
frustrating.
he is a grab. Another guy I guess you could grab is Sengun. Like people like him, but that's a deeper league. Like he's owned in our league, but we have a Rockets fan and it's a 12-team competitive league.
Yeah,
But
they don't want to
yeah, for sure. Eric Gordon's also a stream because he's been shooting the ball well of late, and that's what he does. That's what he's
Yeah.
known for. So he's had a couple of good games. He's definitely not making my top 5 though. Los
It's
Angeles,
interesting to see how he reacts to Green coming back.
yeah, they'll probably reduce his minutes, I think, if they haven't already.
I hope they do.
Yeah, Los
Should
Angeles
be in their best
Clippers.
interest.
Yeah, the Clippers. Reggie Jackson and Jay Scrubb are on the COVID list. So
Who's Jay Scrub?
He's a scrub, dude. He's not even grabbable in
Relevant.
fantasy. I'm just giving you the list, but streamers, because Paul George is out like 4 to 6 weeks, or they're checking on him in 4 to 6 weeks, so he could be out longer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to grab Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard, and one of the Morris twins. Gosh, I mix up which team they're on, but let me check real quick. Marcus Morris, senior. He had a good game. The first game Paul George was out. 38 fantasy points, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists.
But he's known to go, so you got to be wary of him. Like he's like,
yeah, that's why I put Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard first, just because Marcus Morris is up, or both of the Morris brothers are just like up and down.
Yeah, like it's too much like up and down for me. Like I like stability in my teams. Like that's like my biggest principle in like fantasy is just stability.
Yeah, it's a good one to have. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep dropping guys who are down a bit, or if you have up and down guys, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, Terrence Mann, the first game without Paul George, didn't play well at all. But he's still a must grab. Like we saw what he did the second half of last season.
Yeah.
When Kawhi first went out and it was him and Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was helping teams win fantasy championships. So I think he can return to that level.
I don't know what that feels like, but yeah.
Well, you won like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, 3 years. Like, what have you done for me lately? That's how I feel. Fantasy excellence takes a lot.
Yeah.
I work out in the off season with my thumb and my index finger.
Yeah, I got you.
Elite level athlete.
Oh my god. Lakers. Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Austin Reeves, Rajon Rondo, and then Frank Vogel, the head coach, is out with COVID.
Thank God.
I put streamers. One of them the main one I think is Malik Monk.
Yeah. Big time.
And you could grab Carmelo, you could grab Talen Horton-Tucker. But this isn't really a team I trust either to grab guys from, so.
What?
Besides Monk, I don't like Talen Horton-Tucker. They keep messing with his minutes and like his usage. I don't know, man. He's hyper talented, but
yeah,
it's like they're not using him right.
But they're not using anybody right, honestly. But the thing about them that I like is they have potential. They have so much potential to be great. And they're led by one of the greatest players that we ever seen in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just hopeful that they figure it out and turn it around.
Yeah, for sure. Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks, Jarrett Culver, DeAnthony Melton, Yves Pons, Zara Williams. So streamers, I put Steven Adams. I would probably also add Tyus Jones, but Tyus Jones hasn't been playing well the past 3 games. And Steven Adams has been picking it up, so Adams has apparently turned into like this up and down player, and
he's old. And that's crazy. Like usually older players like have an easier time adjusting.
Yeah, he's had almost a double-double 2 games ago. This last game, 13 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. So they're using him more because they have so many guys out. So right now, I think he's a great play.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's in my top 5 though, but he's a guy you could stream.
Yeah.
Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry is the only one on the COVID list now. So actually, a couple of those guys
Max
that are
Strus
barely owned are on there. He's on the COVID list now?
Yeah,
This
he
thing's
got on
hard to
there
keep
like
up with.
yesterday.
Okay,
Uh,
so is Gabe Vincent too?
I think Gabe Vincent's playing.
Oh, fudge. Yeah,
He'll be one of my
Struz,
top 5 streamers.
COVID list. Gabe Vincent, COVID list. Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a recent
Okay.
development?
Yeah, so more guys have just joined it. Oh, no, what happened to Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just not playing today. That's because it's
Rest.
a back-to-back. Yeah. So, streamer for me, the main one is their third string center because Dwayne Dedmon's out like 2 to 4 weeks. We know Bam Adebayo doesn't have a timetable. So Omer Yurtseven, he's been putting up really good numbers. Actually, this is like a must grab. I think I didn't realize yesterday how much he went off. Yesterday, 32 minutes, 10 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 37.3 fantasy points.
Who?
And yeah, exactly. Nobody really knows this guy's name. Omer Yurtseven. Or Yurtseven. However you pronounce it. But he's only 6.4% owned. He's like their only big man available right now. So that's who they're playing. Plus they have all these guys that just went to the COVID list. So they really only have like 8 players who could play. This guy's putting up great numbers. He's already grabbed in our league, of course.
Man.
But you gotta grab this guy. He's putting up really stud, like big man numbers that. Wow, he wasn't in my top 5, but I didn't realize how good he did yesterday. And he's playing today again against San Antonio. That's pretty good. All right, Minnesota Timberwolves, Patrick Beverley, Anthony Edwards, Torian Prince, D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, Jared Vanderbilt, McKinley Wright, the fourth. So
That's a hell of a name.
streamers for me are Jalen McDaniels, who can put up really good numbers when he gets the minutes, and he just did last night. He got me like 42 fantasy points.
I'll say
Malik
one that don't
Beasley.
sound crazy.
What?
Greg Monroe as well.
Yeah, that's true. So this team's hard because they were all, like, almost all of their stars were removed from the COVID list. Then they didn't play yesterday, but then they might play this Friday. So this
I
team's
feel like
really up in the air right now.
I feel like that team would be one of the teams that you'll stay away from their streamers just because
Mm-hmm.
it's just so it might be so rock bottom. They're rock bottom. Like their floor is so low, but the ceiling is so high. So you really got to stay away from that because the middle ground is just so vague.
Yeah, plus with all their stars about to come back, just you got to be watching it like the day of, and these are like daily streamer guys, basically.
Yeah.
New Orleans Pelicans, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall. Only streamer for me is Herbert Jones. He was already a streamer anyway without COVID. He's
Yeah.
basically their fill-in power forward.
The
And
last week he's been averaging 32.8. And
yeah, he
over
just
the
looks like a stud.
the last 15 days it's been 27. And then last 30 has been 25, so he's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, he's got to be up there on the list for sure. New York Knicks, Miles McBride, Nerlens Noel, Jericho Sims. So the only fantasy relevant guy is Noel, barely.
Yeah.
So there's not really many streamers. I put Evan Fournier just if you need points. He's kind of just like Kobe White, like if you need some bench points.
He's your guy.
Don't expect much. Yeah. Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh, I can't even say this guy's name. Pork Zefsky? He's one of their power forwards, just that weird looking white guy with the long face. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Aaron Wiggins, Josh Giddey just joined the COVID list, Darius Baisley. So I think the must stream guy is Dort, especially with Giddey out. Like he's now the number 2 option.
Yeah.
And they barely have players in the court, so it's Dort and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are the main guys for the coming week here. So
their
See if
backup
Dort's
point
available.
guard, and Williams will be Kenrick Williams. Like he'll be a nice little stream. He'll get you like he won't get you very many points, but he'll get you rebounds and he'll get you a steal a game. And you know, in
Mm-hmm.
our league, those steals are very valuable.
Heck yeah, 3 points for a steal.
Yeah. And on the season, he only averages 7, 4, and 2, and 1 steal a game, and an
Mm-hmm.
occasional block. So,
For sure. Yeah.
uh,
Oh, go ahead.
uh, I particularly will stay away from them just because they're a bottom 5 team, and like
Mm-hmm.
you know, with those teams, you never know how much those players are going to play because they might lose by 30 very quickly. So, guys won't play the whole fourth quarter, or just it'll be garbage time a lot quicker.
True. True. Yeah. Yeah, I would only grab Dort. He's not in my top 5. Yeah. Hint, hint. Orlando Magic, Mobamba, Ignas Bradeskis. So he must be like a third stringer. Moritz Wagner, Michel Mulder, Chuma Okiki, Terrence Ross. Um, that sucks because Terrence Ross was starting to heat up right before he went to the COVID list. Um,
Yeah.
only streamer for me. This is another team hit hard by COVID. Streamer for me is Gary Harris. He's been putting up really good numbers the past couple games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got him only available. But let me just look at his last game real quick. Already owned in our league, of course.
Yeah.
He's not going crazy. This isn't a must grab guy, but he's going to get you plus 20 fantasy points if you put him in because he's getting like 35 minutes a night right now
Yeah.
because they
I
have
look
nobody.
I look at RJ Hampton as well. RJ Hampton's a guy I'm very high on. Like, he has a very similar
Okay.
route to LaMelo Ball. It's just that he's not as talented.
Yeah, he's put up good numbers too.
Yeah, like so that's a guy who I would like particularly look out for. And if Terrence Ross wasn't hurt, maybe him. But Mo Wagner as well. Or, or
Well, he's on the COVID list.
Mo is?
Yeah, not
I thought
Franz.
no, I think it's Franz who's on the list, but Mo's not.
No, Franz just went off last night. He scored 38 points,
Mo
54 fantasy points.
Mo played last game too.
Oh, it did? So my
Yeah,
list is still a little outdated. Yeah, he got 11 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
but he's
over
filling in backup center because Mobamba's not back yet.
yeah. And then you look at Robin Lopez. Robin looked like he'd been balling, like when he gets 30 minutes, but the
Mm-hmm.
last 3 games he got 6 minutes, 10 minutes, and 24 minutes. So he might not be like
Yeah, he had like 3 stud games and he was like almost going to be a must grab and then fell off.
yeah. They probably saw something that they liked or didn't like in somebody or in him.
Mm-hmm. And now Wendell Carter's back, so people could drop Okiki, unfortunately. I liked him a lot as a grab, but players are getting back. Philadelphia 76ers, Andre Drummond, Danny Green, Shake Milton. I really didn't have any streamers for this team. I said
Uh,
maybe Seth Curry, but he's mostly owned.
Danny Green was placed in COVID protocols uh, today
Yeah, I got him on
or
there.
yesterday. Danny
But,
Green is a terrible basketball. Well, he's not a terrible basketball player. I just
uh,
don't like him because how like he missed shots on the Lakers. Uh,
yeah.
hurt my guy's legacy. The series should have been over in 5, not 6.
Oh
Then
my god.
the only possible streamer I would say is Niang and Kormas. Those are
Okay.
the only 2 options that you'll have with the Sixers, and
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call those guys great options. So
For sure.
yeah, but
Yeah, let's.
their 2 guard gets well, I don't know. They had some guys that had one good game, but the rest of the games they were pretty mid. So like it throws off the averages a lot. So I don't know. Those guys I would just stay away from Philly.
For sure. Um,
Phoenix is interesting though.
Yeah, Phoenix Suns have Jay Crowder, Alfred Payton, Monty Williams, the head coach, and DeAndre Ayton just went on to the COVID list too. So that's
Today.
not on this. I think it was yesterday, but he will
I'm
not be
so
playing. Yeah.
I'm so mad that somebody has JaVale McGee on waivers, so like he won't be eligible this week.
Yeah, until like tomorrow, right?
I'm not sure how long the
It says
period is.
Thursday. It says Thursday. Yeah. So you could
I
grab
hope
him
he
for that
clears.
weekend.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Hopefully you don't
Um,
do it first.
I'm not going to use a waiver. You might beat me then. Um, yeah, Cameron Johnson is like a must stream. JaVale McGee is a must stream. I guess JaVale
Yeah,
over Cameron for sure. But
yeah,
Cameron's
just
just been
'cause
shooting lights out lately.
yeah, those guys are like I feel like you won't go wrong with either of those guys just because they're on a good
Hmm.
basketball team and their team is bound to blow somebody out that has a COVID ridden injury just because they seem pretty healthy, right? Chris Paul like
Hmm.
hasn't missed like very many games this year.
Man, second Renaissance year in a row.
Yeah,
It's
him and
crazy.
LeBron are going crazy. Like the old guys are taking over the league.
Oh,
Or
they're like the only two good old guys left, really.
Melo. Melo's a good role
He's
player.
not all-star caliber though, like these
I
guys.
agree. I agree. I'm trying to think of another good old guy.
I
Uh,
mean, Aldridge is
well,
washed.
KD can be considered an old guy.
No.
Him
No,
and
I
LeBron
mean,
are like
I'm talking
three.
like 35 plus because Chris Paul and LeBron are 36.
Okay.
Kevin
'Cause,
Durant, like Kevin Durant's 33 or 32.
yeah, like it's weird. Like, I didn't know him and LeBron were so close in age.
Yeah,
I feel like that's why he doesn't call LeBron the GOAT.
probably not.
'Cause
Yeah, the competitiveness.
yeah, but KD should be in the GOAT conversation.
No, he's got to win a
Unpopular
couple in Brooklyn.
opinion. You don't think he is?
Uh,
I I think this
goat
year or next
shooter.
year, I wouldn't say that either.
I think if he
There's a
got
lot of
two more
guys.
chips, he'd be in the conversation for sure.
I hope he gets them just for his legacy, but I hope he doesn't get
Hmm.
them in. Well, his
I
window's
hope he gets
closing
one in
pretty slowly.
Brooklyn.
I don't because the Bulls are back relevant, so like that would be
Oh
directly
yeah,
detrimental to my team.
yeah, man. It sucks because we're a top four team in the East, but of those top four, it's going to be really hard to beat the Bucks, the Nets, and the Heat. Like,
Yeah, I don't see us having any postseason success this year against those guys just because they all have so much experience and they have
if
great players. Like,
if Bam doesn't come back, we could take the Heat.
thank you.
Um, the Nets, if
How's it?
Kyrie for some reason doesn't finish the season or something, we could take them. We've proven that. But if they have Kyrie, we can't
But
take them.
but I don't think we could take them because you say we've proven it, but like I'm a very old Bulls fan, and I remember when we used to like run through any LeBron team in a regular season, but when it came postseason, we just played a different LeBron. I have a feeling that Kevin Durant is kind of the same natured player, so I don't think our chances are very high against them.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We play really good. Nobody's talking about our defense enough, man. I don't know. We're just talking about how like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine put up 30 a night,
The
and
casual
then
basketball fan doesn't talk about our defense, but
but our
we
defense is good enough to win a championship.
yeah, because we have like one of the best combination of players. Like all our players in our starting lineup, I feel like all our guards are 6'6" and above.
Hmm.
So like,
Yeah,
uh,
we're super lengthy, and scrappy, and just hyper athletic players. Like even the bench row players are just like defensive swarmers. Like,
I feel like our easiest matchup in the first round would be against Atlanta, just because we have guards that irritate Trey Young so much.
God, I don't want to play them first round.
Why not?
God, because
The, the,
that's probably the best bottom half team.
it
Like,
is, but it isn't. They're relying on jump shooting. So like, they
hmm.
have John Collins, but we're gonna neutralize John Collins by putting him on Vucevic and like once you bang John Collins down, he's not going to want to do all that alley oop catching, all that running the floor. Like we just gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
hit the nail over the head a lot of times with him. But with Trae Young, I feel like our guards defensively, like he's not doing anything with Lonzo Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say this over and over, bro. LeVar was right. Lonzo Ball is very great. Like I'm so happy he's a Bull. And I'm so happy like I
Yeah,
could join
man.
the big baller train.
Don't tell me you bought a pair of shoes.
Oh hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. I might buy a
Okay.
hoodie, but like shoes,
Yeah,
oh,
there you go.
I can't spend over 200 on shoes. That's just a bad investment.
True.
Like even over 100, it's a bad investment. It touches
Mm-hmm.
the ground,
Yeah,
literally.
for sure. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yeah, man, I don't know. We're definitely not beating the Bucks. Like
yeah.
they're
They're
they're they're
starting to look
just as
really good.
good. They're just as good defensively, and they're so
They have
big.
Giannis.
And Cousins is coming back, dude. Like people are scared of the Nets. It's still the Bucks, man. It's still the Bucks to beat. Like
It really is.
I don't know. Like for the Nets to beat them, they literally need Kyrie, and they all have to shoot lights out. Like that's their only chance.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
I feel like I don't know. Drew Holiday's good enough defensively where
Hmm.
he'll bother Kyrie at least a little bit.
Yeah, but Kyrie's gonna be well rested now too. Half the season off. He'll be playing. He'll be playing good, man. I don't know. I have a good. Uh, I don't know. It's all up in the air. I just don't see us going to the chip. That sucks. But
But we gotta have realistic expectations before we become disappointed. You know,
true.
like
Yeah,
I'll be happy with us just getting back to the playoffs. It feels good watching your team late in the year,
it's true.
even though we might not go all the way. I still remember those heartbreaking years when I thought we were gonna get a ring, then the other team had a LeBron James and we didn't. So like, so like
Yep.
I'm just happy with us making the playoffs, and I'm gonna keep my expectations very logical. I understand other teams have a Kevin Durant and a Giannis, but we got a
Hmm.
Zach LaVine. And like
Hell yeah.
a Zach LaVine and a DeMar DeRozan, I feel like we could do some real damage in the playoffs. I don't know if we're gonna get a ring. I don't know if we're gonna get out the East, but I know we're gonna get to the playoffs and probably win a series, and that's good enough for me.
Heck yeah. Yeah. No, we're winning a series for sure. We're getting
Yeah,
past round one. It's just round two is where we have the challenge.
yeah, that's when we play real teams.
Hmm. Uh, let's get back to it though. Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, who's the coach, Killian Blevins, Robert Covington, Ben McLemore, Yusuf Nurkic, Dennis Smith Jr., Trendon Watford, Cody Zeller. So streamers for me is Larry Nance Jr. and Nasir Little. They're basically filling in as the big men, and Larry Nance is doing okay, but Little's putting up like the big numbers. He just hit a 50-point fantasy game, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Um, he's basically a must grab right now.
Yeah, I like everything you said. I just would re-emphasize Larry Nance because he usually plays well when he gets minutes. So uh, that choice would be a no-brainer just because you know somebody who's an experienced pro in the league. Although it's not very much upside besides this time period, you know the type of player that you're going to get on your team. Uh, it gives you rebounds and scores the rock. Not well, like not exceptionally well, but he scores the rock enough.
Hmm. Yeah, Sacramento Kings, Alex Len, Davion Mitchell, Nemius Quetta. So really not many fantasy relevant players. So I put streamers none. I mean, I saw you grab Marvin Bagley because he's back, so you could grab Bagley and play him, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Basically, they have everybody else.
My rationale behind grabbing Bagley is they were giving him minutes before he got hurt. His first game back, they probably gave him like 10 or so minutes. Uh, I feel like they're gonna end up giving him 30 plus minutes eventually once they figure out who he is, or even trade him. So I'm happy either way.
For sure.
Like with
Breaking news: Bulls signing Jordan Bell to a 10-day.
the guy's garbage. The guy's garbage. It's the reason why he's not on Golden State, and they have a championship formula. So
It's
like,
true.
I wouldn't put much stock into that.
Yeah, I'm just surprised to see it. I don't know why we
Yeah,
need that because we only really have like Lonzo on the COVID protocols.
yeah.
San
The
Antonio
big ball
Spurs.
though.
San Antonio Spurs have their best player in the COVID protocols, DeJounte Murray. But I mean, that's it. One guy's in COVID protocols. I don't really have anybody as a streamer because all their other players are taking the rest of the stats. And
I'll take Lonnie.
okay, I
Lonnie
did put
Walker.
him. He just hasn't gone off yet or anything. So I was like, I don't know. He could.
I
Oh, now it
I
says day to
personally dropped
day.
him
What the
early this
heck?
year. What? He did
He's
it.
he's now doubtful for Wednesday's game. He was fine last night. All right.
He probably slipped in the shower.
Yeah, so I don't really can't recommend anybody. I mean, maybe Doug McDermott if you want some points, but
Yeah, nobody
about it.
who's a complete like world stopper. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't think their team had a.
Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, Precious Achiuwa, OG Anunoby, Isaac Bonga, Malachi Flynn. Streamers, I put their big men, but that was right before their main guy just came back last night. Pascal Siakam, and he went off. But their backup big men were doing pretty well before that, but now there's really no one to
Yeah,
grab. If Chris Boucher isn't owned in one of your leagues, he's starting to really heat up with Scotty Barnes out. He just had 59.8 fantasy points last night. 28 points, 19 rebounds, 2 blocks. He's not doing that again, but he's really picking it up, filling in for Scotty Barnes. So he's kind of like a must grab if he's not owned.
and you know what's crazy? Like he turned it on last year too. Like I don't know what it is with this guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's just like a late starter. It's really weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year I grabbed him. He was averaging 40 fantasy points for about almost 2 months, and then he started to fall off. But it's crazy. Maybe he's entering one of those again.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my only streamer with Siakam back. Utah Jazz. They don't really have any COVID list players, but Donovan Mitchell is out for a couple games, so I put Jordan Clarkson as a streamer.
yeah,
That's really it for me though, because basically everybody's playing like all their main guys besides
yeah.
Donovan. So Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal, Caldwell Pope, Raul Neto, Montrezl Harrell just entered. So my biggest streamer is Daniel Gafford because Montrezl Harrell and Daniel Gafford have been splitting center minutes all season. Like they're basically going with the hot hand. And yeah, with Harrell out, it's all open up for Gafford to put up big numbers this week. And I know
hmm
eventually Thomas Bryant's coming back, and then Montrez will be off the COVID list, I'm sure, after like 6 days. But right now, he's like a must stream.
Yeah. Uh, I'm kind of wary of Gafford just because he had ample opportunity at the start of the year. He was getting big minutes, and he really didn't produce how they thought he would. But his last game, he had 16 and 11. Those are
Mm-hmm.
very good stats. But the reason why I would pick up Gafford if I picked him up is just block shots. Like he's very productive in that area, and in our league, you get a lot of points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just for the next couple games, try to grab him. He's not like a must hold anymore, especially with all those possible centers being on the team. Well, like, yeah, 3 starting caliber centers. So it's just kind of clogged over there. But while all these guys are out, but yeah, that's all the teams and all the possible stream options. I have my top 5 ranked. Do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah, you can go first.
So basically, I'm going off of just for this week, not for high upside rest of season, just for this week. Guys to grab. Sorry. My number 1 is Cam Reddish because he's getting about 35 minutes a night. He's going to be the number 2 scorer behind Trae Young until John Collins is back and other key players, like you said, Kevin Huerter. And I think he's just a great grab, like the most reliable grab of anybody out there right now. My number 2 is Dorian Finney-Smith. With Doncic out, he's the number 2 player. Well, and their shooting guard is out, Tim Hardaway Jr. So it's really just Porzingis and Dorian Finney-Smith, and then their point guard is tossing to him, so their backup point guard. But I like him a lot. Like for a floor, this is one of the best floor guys. He's getting 25 a night plus, if not more. Kevin Love is, like we said, looking like Renaissance Kevin Love. He's getting near 35 fantasy points a night the past 3 games. So until that stops, you got to grab him and play him, especially for just 1 week, at least a couple games. And then I put Daniel Gafford because he's the only center available on Washington. And like you said, he also plays good defense, so he's giving you extra stats. And then, you know what? I got to change my 5 because I put Otto Porter Jr., but then Andrew Wiggins came back, so I don't trust him as much anymore. I'm going to say that, let's see here. This is a tough one because I was pretty sure on him until I thought Andrew Wiggins was going to be out longer. Probably the Miami Heat center. He's the only center available. Omer at 7. And he's putting up big numbers. So until that changes, until players are back, I'd grab him. Who are your top 5, Aaron?
So in no order particularly, I would say Malik Monk. Just because the Lakers look like they figured out their lineup, but the Lakers are so erratic. You never know. Then I'll say Gafford. Just because he gives you block shots, and those are 3 points a pop. So they're very effective. Then I'll say Fournier just because he's a high level player, and although the Knicks are very inconsistent with their lineups, he's been getting consistent minutes all season. So I'll say that's a safe pick.
For sure.
Then it gets hard after that, honestly.
I know.
I would have to put Dort just because he's a high-level player. He had a great playoff series last year or the year before that. I don't think it was last year. They were terrible last year, right? Or was it? It was whenever they had Chris Paul. He had a good playoff run. Then the year that
2 years ago.
Yeah, that was the year he blocked James Harden's shot, right?
Yeah,
because James Harden's been in the East 2 years now. So yeah, they had a great playoff series. I'll say Kobe White because I'm a Bulls guy, and then Pritchard to round it out, just because he puts up numbers and he's playing on a pretty bad team. And yes, Boston is a bad team. Everybody doesn't want to admit it, but Boston is a bad team. We all have to come to that conclusion. So I like good players on bad teams just because there's a lot of empty stats there to be got. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I like those, man. Yeah, we took up like a decent amount of time here, so hopefully that helped y'all with guys to grab and stream options, and hopefully that can help you win your week. Real quick, good and bad schedules. 2-game weeks, Detroit Pistons, New Orleans Pelicans, and the 76ers. So you might not want to stream anybody off those teams. And then Tuesday, Thursday stream plays, Cavs, Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks, Orlando Magic, 76ers, and Wizards. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Aaron. That was a lot of fun. I know it was a lot of teams and a lot to go through, but we kind of hit every single possible player you could stream, so I think that's important.
And everybody be on the lookout for our little political podcast coming soon,
Yeah.
2 very objective viewpoints, so hopefully you guys enjoy and get a break from the conventional Democrat, Republican type broadcast. So hopefully we come through with some knowledge that you don't know and provide you with a service that you didn't know you needed.
For sure. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on again, and hopefully we can have you on again soon because it's a lot of fun when you're on for the podcast.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, everyone.